budget. Now, the medium-term budget policy statement will be delivered tomorrow afternoon, and our team is already setting up to bring you that news. Now, it's been described as the most politically contentious medium-term budget policy statement. And for more on this, let's talk to Alex Gwala, Global Business Tax Services Leader at Deloitte Africa. Alex, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Why do you think this statement is so important, given the current political climate and ahead of the election next year?
I think you've just mentioned it. It's the election that is coming next year. Other than that, it's just a medium budget as normal. Obviously, the conditions have deteriorated since the February budget. So everyone is looking at how the minister is going to respond to the challenges that the country is facing.
Now, what are the actual state of government finances? Are we running out of money?
That would be an exaggeration, but the reality is, since the budget speech in February this year, things have deteriorated. And as you will know, that the government source of revenue is tax collections. So those tax collections are currently expected to fall short. Others are estimating 30 billion, others are estimating 50 billion. So if that happens, you want to make sure that you come up with measures before February, March next year to make sure that shortfall is addressed.
So if this deficit or shortfall is not addressed, if you could just explain to us, what could be the consequences to us South Africans?
So currently, if you look at our debt to GDP, is already over 70%. And the cost of servicing that debt is huge. And most of that debt was accumulated through funding consumption as opposed to investing to infrastructure. So our option is either to increase that debt, increase taxes, or manage your spending. And increasing of taxes, as you will have seen in the past, they increase VAT, but the expected collections never really materialized. So it shows that the taxpayer has gotten to a point where they can't pay more taxes. So it eliminates the tax increases. Then you look at the debt, you increase the debt, but it's also a challenge. So I think the focus should be on cost containment. As the minister has alluded to it, we know that there is challenges in terms of doing that currently because of the elections that are coming in next year.
Now, some of the other topics that came from the budget earlier this year is Eskom and solar power. What update can we expect here?
So you'll remember in the budget speech in February, they announced the tax allowances, and that was meant to cushion the taxpayer from the cost of funding this solar installation. But the challenge was, and we saw it again now with the recent discussions, the biggest cost of installing solar is not really the panels, it's on the batteries and the inverters. And the allowance only was only focused on the panels. And it was not really attractive to the taxpayers. And taxpayers are still pushing for batteries and inverters cost to be allowed. Until that happens, we don't see many taxpayers really going for these allowances. So they will continue to struggle. One of the options really is not to provide an allowance, but to provide funding, because for you to access the allowance, you must have spent the money. So if they focus on supporting household to fund the installation, that would achieve us a better result, I think.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Alex. That was Alex Gwala, Global Business Tax Services Leader at Deloitte Africa, on the medium-term budget to be delivered tomorrow.